I believe it was 5 separate craft. That's some straight UFO shit right there.
That's when I started seeing all of the lights and the contact that I've been witnessing.
Kept filming and looking up at the sky, and it just started happening more frequently.
Look, what is that? What is that? What was that?
Join your fellow Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Experiencers at the 2024 Full Disclosure Now Conference, this July 15th to 18th. This conference will be a fun and positively life-changing experience for so many. In addition to 4 days and nights of presentations, there will be special event dinners, dancing, fun time on the beach, UFO night watch tours, film screenings, vendors, and more at the lovely Serrata Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach, Florida. Over 34 Montauk Project survivors, Secret Space Program whistleblowers, ET contactees, and psychic healers will be presenting in the name of the Full Disclosure Movement. The truth must be revealed if we're all to achieve our Star Trek future here and now. Get your event passes and book your stay now at fulldisclosuremovement.org.
Hi, I'm Heather McLaren, ESPP ufologist from Scotland, and you're watching Alien Strand Podcast with Donald Ledesma.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. Yeah. So, we are live right now on Rumble. We are live on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch right now. X, for some reason, didn't let us go on. I don't know, man. It's always something. It's one thing is another, right? But anyway, I hope you guys caught that disclosure conference that's going on actually right now. It's been going on for a couple of days now. So, actually, today, they're showing the middle part 2. They already showed it here about an hour ago. They're at the conference, so hopefully everything went well over there. I hope you guys really enjoyed the film. I was able to introduce it via audio, so I hope you guys caught that as well. You know, I'm glad that everybody's been out there watching the film and then just kind of enjoying it there on Amazon Prime. Thank you guys for that. The commercial, I put it on here a little while ago. I can't thank you guys enough just for watching it and spreading the word of disclosure. Today we're going to be talking about disclosure and what it really is, right? And what we really are, as far as like we're not wearing these tinfoil hats, right? Like we always talk about it all the time, man. Terry Lynch and myself are always throwing it out there. And if you're watching here on Alien Strand Disclosure Project, thank you for watching right now. It's people always think we're nuts, right? I don't know why. I don't know why, because it's like you've seen one, you're going to see another one. You're going to see another one. That's just the way it is, right? You can't change it any other way. This is how I see it, man. It's like seeing a ghost, right? You see a ghost one time in your house, you're going to see it again, guaranteed, right? Same thing tags along with UFOs, extraterrestrials, things like that, right? Bigfoot, I don't know, man. Maybe that's a one in a big blue moon that you catch that, but we're going to have some things to talk about today as far as that is concerned. We're going to try to bring that to the forefront. And, I hope you guys caught that last podcast I just did a week ago with Jessica. We talked about things that were going on in her house, and after the podcast was over, after we talked, right, she's like, you know what? I just took some photos a little while ago, man, and I don't know what you think of these, but have you ever seen a picture like the Leonardo da Vinci, or the dollar bill, like you've been seeing on all these posts where people kind of like fold them into something and it turns into something, right? Well, she's been getting a lot of stuff out there in Canada, right? And she takes a lot of photos of the sky, right? And when she does this, she'll use an inverter and then invert the image, right? And I'm going to show you what she got out of that image. So check this out. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but I'm going to zoom in here while you're looking at this video. It's a picture, actually, and it's of the clouds. It's an inverted, like a mirrored image. So she says, like, every time I take a picture, I get like some sort of an extraterrestrial face that comes out within the clouds, right? And this is what we're seeing here. Of course, you guys on audio world, it's just clouds up in the sky over a house. But when you cut it in half and you kind of flip it into a mirror, you're going to get this image to where it looks like some sort of extraterrestrial of some sort, right? And this is what she's getting out there, right? And I see this a lot with a lot of folks. I mean, are we just seeing things that we think is out there or what? But it's the coincidences, right, that come with this of catching these images in the clouds that actually have the same kind of features of an extraterrestrial. What does that, right? And that's what I always talk about. Like, they think we're nuts, we're crazy. Are we looking too far, too deep into this to where it's like we think we're seeing stuff, but we're not? I don't think so. I think there's something out there in this realm that we just don't understand, and we try to pull through as far as getting the information, the photos, and the videos to you guys. This is why this is UFO Talk 2, because this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the UFOs, the extraterrestrials out there, and why they, reach or contact individuals, right? It could be anybody out there, right? And that's what the film The Middle Two is about, and that's why they showed it today there in Florida, because the things that they saw and what came out of it, right? Out of that image. And it just blew me away how we think extraterrestrials or these extraterrestrial craft come into our dimension. I mean, do you think out there, this is just me asking you, do you think that these UFO craft, what we call them, come in interdimensionally? In other words, they just kind of come in through a wormhole and here they are, right? Or do they come from millions of light years away in one shot, right? Or they're like in hyper speed, or let's just say it that way, right? What are your thoughts? Do you think that they come in this way, to where it's some sort of a portal and they make their way through into our dimension to where we're able to see them, notice them, and everything that comes along with it? Now, if you notice in this photo, there's extraterrestrial coming in through a portal. It's not a real photo, of course. This is AI. But we always see these extraterrestrial craft around mountains, high areas, things like that, volcanoes, Popocatépetl, or over there in Mexico. We see these UFO crafts coming out of there, right? And why are they so attracted to, mountains, higher landscapes, things like that, even volcanoes? Why are they attracted to those things? Is it something that they're able to shoot through, or just a hideaway? Is this something that they're just doing just to, keep a low profile, right? And so for the people out there that are just joining us in right now, I mean, we're talking about extraterrestrials, how people think we're nuts, and how the things that we see in the sky daily, or extraterrestrials, that make us think, that people think that we're nuts or crazy or whatever you want to call it, right? In which really, in reality, it's not that way, right? We are seeing things that we can't explain. Right. And I like this analogy right here that I'm going to put on screen. I'm going to read it to you. It says, this is about aliens, right? Not believing in existence of aliens is like taking a spoonful of water from the ocean and saying there is no shark in the ocean because there is none in my spoon, right? And that's the truth of the reality of thinking that there are no extraterrestrials out there. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this lately that a lot of these scientists, big scientists, Degrassi and, all these guys, they're starting to come out more and more about ufology, coming into the ufology world, right? Because they're trying to understand, how the science plays in this field of extraterrestrials, right? Because they're trying to figure it out themselves. If they didn't believe in this, or it was just out there, where it's like, most of them are atheists, which is that's their thing. Whatever you want to be, that's cool too. If you want to do that, that's fine. But it always comes to the point to where they're looking at extraterrestrials and they're saying, well, the science is just not there, but yet they're starting to see more videos and more people talk about the science. So why not jump in the bandwagon with the rest of us, right? Why not? And start maybe trying to answer these questions as we all have of these extraterrestrials crap that come into our atmosphere, right? And this is what they do. They push themselves through, and then we're using our phones and photos and everything trying to give us that aha moment, to say, hey, wait, I see something. What is this, right? Just like this one here in 1966. Seen a photo of a UFO craft that just popped up in the sky. It almost looks like a bowl, but if you notice, there's a white trail or a white extraterrestrial craft behind it as well. You always see that. You're always going to see with a real extraterrestrial craft, you're always going to see the smaller probe next to it. And if people that are just joining us here and don't know too much about ufology, this is what you see on older photos, real craft, not the AI crap that's out there. This is what you'll see. You'll see an actual, a dot or another craft next to it. In other words, what I'm trying to tell you is they don't travel by themselves, right? They don't do that. And they're always in a pack of 2, 3, whatever. You just can't see them. They kind of mix with the clouds. I've already showed you a lot of videos of how they mix in there with the clouds, and then you can't really see them very well, right? But what happens when they do come down, right? I posted a video here a couple of days ago when that one came down in Mexico. I don't know if you'll see it here. I'm going to show it to you, but there was a video that I just posted. It's still only like a minute video. This is about 20 seconds long, but this UFO comes down and it's hovering over this house, right? And that's the part that we're trying to explain to people of what these things really are, right? Look at it there, you can clearly see that thing just literally over the house. I mean, is it grabbing somebody? There wasn't enough still image or enough still video of this to actually see if it was pulling somebody up in there, but it sure is pretty low on top of that rooftop. If you really think about it and you're watching this, right, it is super low to that rooftop. And I guarantee you it probably did take somebody, right? It's a possibility that it did. There's a question out there that says, what do you think aliens look like? Well, I mean, they've been so that we've been explaining and people have been showing photos of these extraterrestrials of what they really are, right? They might look like this, right? They might have the big eyes, the grays. A lot of people do see them in this sense, right? There has been videos that I posted, pictures of what these extraterrestrials possibly look like. Now look at this one here. I showed it the last time too. You see the big eyes, small mouth, things like that. This is what we're seeing, right? Of what they possibly look like, right? And we're not here to glorify exactly what they, where they are. Oh, I want to get in their ship. I want to take off. I want to go here. I want to go there. No, man. I mean, I say this, over and over to people. I'm not here to scare you. That's not my thing. My thing is my research. My research is what I see happening to people right after. Okay. And, like I said, I was just editing one of my films, and I edit every day, and I go back and I re-edit. Part 3, as a matter of fact, I just finished it. I know it's out there, but I had to re-edit again. And because you see little flaws. But anyway, when I was listening to one of the stories of Regina, you start thinking about what happens to her, and then and the bad things that these things did to her, right? And what it did to other people as well. And this is what happens to, I'm not going to say everybody. I'm just going to say maybe 40%, or 50%. Some's good, some bad, man. You just don't know which one you're going to get. That is the reality of the extraterrestrial, of what we think they are or what we think they look like, right? Now, like I said, I showed you that video of that UFO over that house in Mexico because, I want you guys to understand that what we're seeing is not human. It's humanistic because it has one head, 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 legs, feet, body, a torso. You know what I mean? It doesn't have 2 heads, 5 heads, or whatever, right? So it's humanistic. And that's what I talk about, what these things are, right? And do they come through different dimensions, right? And there was an article. I'm going to see if I can put it up here on screen here in just a second. But with DeLong, right? He's the guitarist from Blink 182, and he talked about how he's been doing researching for such a long time, and that he knows that it's difficult to do the research, right? And I'm going to put it up on screen. I'm looking for it right now. So he's been a UFO researcher for many, many years, right? And this guy's been one of the top dogs out there, man. I mean, he's got some amazing footage out there. And if you're seeing this now here, this is pretty much what it is, right? This is what you guys are seeing right now. This is an article that he has. This is Blink 182, Tom DeLong, chilling update about disclosure, religion, and UFOs, right? And it says that he's a guitarist frontman from Blink 182. Yeah, impressive to consider the music and career, right? So he says that he's already been involved in an ongoing disclosure efforts in parts of the United States government, right? And he knows that there's books, have been a lot of writing. He says there are tickled secret machines out there. He says, but there's a set of fiction and a set of nonfiction books, right, that you can see on things like this, right? But I'm going to scroll down just a little bit to what he was talking about. And he had an interview. They gave him an interview on a UFO phenomenon disclosure. And I'm just going to read a little bit what he wrote. So this is it right here. This is what he came out on Twitter. AKA X, right? It says what he was talking about, right? It says, I think we're dealing with something that's very, very complicated. I have been working on this theory, and I'm not 100% on just yet about what there is about disclosure, right? He says, what I'm leaning towards is that there's a unique law of physics where free will matters and what you think is reality. Consciousness is a force that flows through the human being and it is created into physical matter, right? So your body, your mind, your entire being is a transducer of its own environment, right? It says you're taking an energy wave and turning it into a particle. So you have to believe into something, see something, and think something for it to be there. That's quantum physics, right? That's what he's talking about, right? Because the things that we notice out there are different, right? And this is why I talked about what the physics were, the guys were talking about earlier, that these scientists out there, they're starting to go into this direction now, right? In other words, they're changing their minds. They almost did a 360. Why is that? And I want to know, to you guys out there, why is that, right? Why is it that they're doing that? Twitch user says, is there something in particular that made you believe in them? Did you always think that they were real? Yes. It's not what I believe in. It's what anybody believes in, right there. It's what you guys are seeing out there, right? I am just giving you the information I've seen UFOs. I've been up close to UFOs. I've seen them up close in New Mexico several times when I lived there. So it's not like I'm blowing smoke. It's not like one of those psychologists that's, child psychologists and they have no kids and they're telling you how to raise your kids. No, I have seen this. I have talked to people. I have interviewed people that have had all this. They have sent me all their video footage of paranormal things, UFO things, extraterrestrials. And the whole conclusion where it's coming to is the conclusion of that these things are real. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. It's not something that we are full of crap, right? These are things that people are seeing every day, whether you believe or you don't believe, or they're the unknown, or even Bigfoot or ghosts. Why do we see ghosts, man? Why are there videos and photos of them out there all over the place? Now we have UFO photos, you have UFO videos, you have extraterrestrial videos. And if you haven't seen any of my movies, part 1 and part 2, I show a lot of extraterrestrials in those. There's a lot of video footage of these people that I put on camera of their own footage, right? And of course, I show you other people's footage that is very compelling to know that these things do exist, right? So there is existence of the extraterrestrial, right? And like I told, I don't know if you guys are new to my podcast or not, but I've got a whole bunch of podcasts where I talk about this. There was one where I talked about Enoch and all the different things of history and how we use the Bible, how the Sumerians used the Anunnaki, because that was a religion as well. People just don't understand that. They just think when you talk about the Bible, you talk about God, they're religious, and then you talk about Anunnaki, like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? No, they're both the same thing, man. So kind of think about that just for a minute. And then what I'm getting at is, because I told you guys, I think there's good, I think the God, the devil, and there's these things, right? It's a possibility that these things are where they came from. I don't know, but could be a creation of everything. What do we know? We don't know. And all we do is all we can do is speculate as far as what happens after death and what happens after your body and everything leaves your this vessel that you have right now, right? We don't know because we're still here. Even if I watch, like I said, I say it over and over. I watch Life After Death. There's a great show on that on YouTube, and it gives you a bunch of scenarios of what's a possibility of what's on the other side, right? And I'm not here to make you believe. Nope. That's up to you. I'm just kind of throwing it out to you guys. But what I'm trying to tell you guys here today is that these things are real, right? And their agenda is totally different of what we think it is. Marisol says, we are amazed and we see these things and can't even wonder how or why. Yes. Marisol is actually an experiencer herself. I had her on one of the podcasts. So she would know more than anybody else what these things really are and what they showed her, right? And I'm not talking about the Greys. She was approached by a different kind. And I think she saw the Greys as well. But I'm going to throw another photo up for you guys to see. Like, you guys in audio world, I'm just kind of throwing some photos up today. But this photo right here is an older photo. It's been floating around for about 3 years. And this is as close to me as what a freaking extraterrestrial looks like. Now, this was a video of a UFO that was on top of a mountain where it showed these two entities being beamed up into this ship, right? But right before they were beamed, somebody took a photo and they got this image, right, of what we see, what extraterrestrials are. Now, a lot of us say they're little green men, back in the day in the 40s and 50s, that's how they explained what these things are. But I have heard many, many stories of people tell that they're not green. And a lot of them, they're not really this pale. They're almost like this brownish color. There's a lot of them that are this color that you're seeing here in front of you on screen. They do have the big black eyes, small mouth, things like that. And this is what I'm taking a drink out of my coffee. Sorry. But this is what people are seeing, and you don't have to believe this. I'm just throwing it out to you guys. I just want people to understand that people are not crazy. You know, we're not wearing tinfoil hats. You know, a lot of us do a lot of research. You know, a lot of us study ufology and extraterrestrials and abductions and like what I do. That's exactly what I do. What I do is I look at the big picture of what happens after, right? And that is the difference of what you're seeing here today, right? All the photos and the videos and things like that, because I want you guys to understand that we're not crazy. There are people out there that have day-to-day interactions with these things. Marisol says, I believe why we are prosecuted and even shunned or locked down on, she just made me laugh. She goes, because it's their ego, right? She says it's definitely grays, right? Rager says on Twitch, what about the pyramids? Well, hey, if you've heard me talk before about the pyramids, I believe it was already there. It's been there, right? And unfortunately, this is my belief that they just put the graffiti on the wall, man. This thing was standing thousands and thousands of years, and it was meant to stand that long, right? I mean, for God's sakes, they can't even figure out how it was put together. Still, they still can't figure it out because of the weight of each stone. They can't figure it out, man. I don't care who you are. They can dig deep and say, you know, oh, the Egyptians. Maybe, but I'm telling you, either something huge helped them put this pyramid together, or it was something that was technologically advanced, way advanced beyond their time to understand what it was, right? And this is what we always try to put together of where the pyramids came from, right? Or were they already there? This is my personal belief. This is just what I think. I just think they were there, man. And they just, they just put their graffiti on the wall. Said, okay, this is mine, right? We're here. We're here now. It's ours. Yeah, where's a lot of that coming from, right? And it's just the humanistic things that we do as people, right? Just like, let's just talk about like the 1800s, 1700s, whatever, early 1800s, where people were claiming their land. Bam, this is my land. I claim 1,500 acres or 2,000 acres. Bam, it's mine. Didn't know what was there before. They just said it's mine, right? They did that. Now you have people that have been owning it for all these hundreds of years, a couple hundred years, right? And when you go back to it, you think, well, hey, was it really theirs? Nah. To me, no. And that's how I get back to the pyramids. I think these things were already there. We just they just put their name on the wall. And I'm not busting nobody's bubble or anything like that. If that's what you believe, hey, that's cool too. There's nothing wrong with that. We just always try to figure out how it was done, right? Because there's still a city buried there underwater, totally underwater, right next to the pyramids. So something happened to make that city sink, which tells you there wasn't that much water all the way back there. The water rose somehow. They even think that the Sphinx was underwater as well, So it goes back longer than we think it does, as far as the extraterrestrial, maybe, or whatever made the pyramids or whatever put those together. But like I said before, will you believe that these things come in interdimensionally, right? They say it wasn't the ocean level naturally rising. Well, I mean, maybe, but they just found out that there's an ocean of water beneath the crust of the earth, which we know, but in India, the scientists figured that there's more water under the crust of the earth, in a layer that is more than our oceans, has more water than our oceans, right? So if you really think about, the water came from the ground up and it flooded up, right? This is what happened. So it's not like we believe in the old things, so much rain came down and it just flooded everything. Well, no. I think it just came from the bottom up. It might have rained that day too. Hey, who knows? It might have rained all those days and nights to where it came out in the book, right? But we know that there is massive amounts of water beneath our feet. We know that for a fact. So now that we know that, it just kind of gives us a different image in our minds of what we're seeing or what we think might have happened, back in the day of the floods, right? And that's a possibility too, right? But what makes this any different? What makes this any different? This picture of this extraterrestrial, than to believe in this and not to believe in it, but what we're seeing is actually the evidence and the proof that we're seeing in front of our faces. And this is what Tom DeLonge was talking about, right? What we're seeing, what we're imaging, what we're putting in our minds. It's almost like he's talking about us manifesting, in a sense, of where these things might be coming from. Are we manifesting these things to come forward, right? I believe we're connected to these things too, as well, right? On a couple of past podcasts, I talked about how if you go outside barefooted and you go put your feet on the ground, and do it early in the morning or late in the evening, about 10 minutes worth, right? You do that for 10 minutes. It's called grounding, right? And it helps circulate your blood. And I saw video of it. They took video samples of this lady, and before she did that, her blood were like all stuck together, all her little platelets. And then when she walked outside for 10 minutes barefooted, she came back in, they took another blood sample, all her blood was just flowing and separated, right? A nice, even flow, right? So what does that tell you? We're grounded, right? We are grounded with the earth. It helps the body, right? So what Tom DeLonge was talking about, consciousness, things like that, science, it all plays factor with everything and within us, right? It might sound confusing to you, but it's not. It's not rocket science, really, in reality. So if we're connected with the earth, that means we're connected with those things as well, right? Somehow, they're coming through. They present themselves to some people in this way, in this sense, right? Showing their faces or a half a face in the cloud, letting you try to figure out what it is. Almost looks like a cat, doesn't it? But it's like, how do we figure out what these things are, right? And when they're showing themselves in this sense. Twitch user says, the strange thing is some other interdimensional beings that are in itself is hard to wrap your head around. That's true. It is hard. But I mean, how do you explain this stuff, man? How do you explain divine intervention? How do you explain that? Good things come to people when you really need it, right? Or that thing that helps everybody, right? When you have your thoughts and prayers, that goes a long ways, because it's like a large signal that goes spread across the entire planet. Even though if you're in another place, another part of the world, and somebody says, hey man, my thoughts are with you, whatever, it goes that way too, right? Positive vibes, right? And that's why we try teaching as well, with ufology. It's not just about UFOs and extraterrestrials, it's about you. And you being more positive and having more positive outcomes, when more positivity outcomes would come out of your life if you push yourself into more positivity, right? And I'm not saying these extraterrestrials are negative. Some are not. Some people have really good experiences with them, and I believe some of these extraterrestrials can be good, and they're trying to teach us knowledge and getting us to where they want us to understand who they are or where they're, even though they're from a distant planet, some of them are. They say they're from wherever, right? It's kind of hard for us to fathom where they're coming from because we've never been there, right? We can barely get out of our own solar system, right? And all we're using is really a probe to get out of our own solar system. So until the day comes where we're able to leave in the speed of light and get out there and make contact the right way, I think that's when we'll actually find out what they're actually about, what they want, and, what it is exactly that they're doing here, right? I just want you guys to understand out there and to know that we're not crazy, we're not full of crap, but it's the seriousness of the extraterrestrial, ufology, Bigfoot, supernatural, all that comes into play. It all comes all together, right? That's why I always say we all need to work together to figure out the disclosure of what it really is. The truth is out there. It's just up to us to find it and to get it out to more people, right? And that's what this podcast is for. And this is what Alien Strand podcast is for. This is what this disclosure meeting in Florida conference is happening right now. It's disclosure. They're telling people about things that are happening around the world, super soldier programs, things like that you didn't think that was happening because we're just too focused on our phones and things like that. We're not really focused on what's happening around you, right? It's crazy how to stay focused in the world we're living in today, but I feel that we can stay focused and stay positive. You know what I mean? Look at the good things out there, not just the bad things. Don't watch things to piss you off. Watch things that make you happy. That's why I love comedies. We're always watching comedies or, some good drama, CIA kind of stuff shows. But hey, you know what? Because it keeps the mind intrigued, right? Not too much horror and stuff like that. It gets kind of somber after a while, right? But, to each their own. But I'm just saying. All right, guys. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for listening today on Spreaker. Right now, we are live on the audio. If you missed today's podcast, don't worry. Just go to all my links right there below after this podcast. It'll point you to all the films, the books, everything like that. The audio podcast, you can go. There's a bunch of them on there. Go check those out. And just have something to listen to. Even Alexa will play it for you. Ask Alexa, she'll play some Alien Strand podcast. And I'm glad you guys are watching today. I really appreciate you. Like I said, it's been my absolute pleasure of giving you the information today. I just want to make sure that you guys are staying focused out there, because that's what it's about. It's about staying focused. And I couldn't ask for having a really, really nice day today. It was kind of hot out down here in South Texas. Not kind of. It is hot. It's super hot, man. All right, guys. Have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening. Have yourselves a good night. Don't forget, give me a like here on Rumble, YouTube, X, Facebook. See you guys later. Have a good day.
Realty Executive in Corpus Christi. I'm here to help you with all of your real estate needs. Give me a call today at 361-851-4466 or email me at kellygreen@realtyexecutives.com. I am on Facebook, Kelly Green Realtor. Call me today.